I've updated webcast for the month of November. My name is William van Voorthuizen. I'm the PTS at QBS Group and also the product specialist for Business Central. Most of you will be familiar with me based on the fact that we are hosting this on a monthly base. Today we do it a little bit different. We have two topics hosted by QBS and two slots hosted by the ISVs. So this time we will start with Inside Software. Then we will do the Business Central update hosted by myself. And then I will hand it over to my colleague Chris to take you through the Dynamics 365 family, CRM related, and also the Power Platform. And then at last, we will hand it over to Cotham Technologies. So for now, I would like to hand it over to Joost from Inside Software.
Thank you, William. Let me see. I hope everybody can see my screen okay. So yes, good afternoon. My name is Joost Ticheler. I am I run the EMEA channel sales team at Inside Software. And for today, I would like to give you a short introduction about the Inside Software, the company, a little bit about our product portfolio, but I won't go into that in too much detail. And most of all, I would like to introduce you to our team in EMEA, with the objective of you knowing whom to contact if you have any questions, if you have customers or prospects that have questions on reporting, data warehousing, etc. So first of all, a little bit about myself. As I said, I'm now running the EMEA channel sales team at Inside Software. But before that, I was, my company was the jet distributor for the Benelux region. So I've done that for over 10 years. So you could say I've sort of been on both sides of the fence, both at the ISV, but also been active as a reseller or distributor. So a little bit about Inside Software or Jet Global. We've had quite a few name changes and changes in the organization over the last couple of years. But Inside Software is you could say a young and growing company with a very clear goal or objective, and that is to become the market leader for all software related to what we call the office of the CFO, or as you can see on the slides here, anything that has to do with financial intelligence. So concrete, what software is that? Then we're talking about everything that is related to reporting, data warehousing, Power BI enablement, but also things like budgeting, forecasting, financial consolidation, etc. So Inside Software, since it started 2 years ago, has made, I think it is from the top of my head, 15 acquisitions. So that's quite a few. And the most important one for this audience is, of course, the acquisition of Jet Global in 2019. And Jet was acquired as Jet is you could say the market leader when it comes to reporting and data warehousing in the Microsoft Dynamics space. So it is both on the Navision/BC side, and then on the other side of the Dynamics channel, you could say on the AX and finance and supply chain side. For instance, we have products like Atlas, which might be a known brand to you. But for instance, we're also running a product called BizView for consolidation, planning, and budgeting. But going forward, and that I think is important to mention, Inside Software has made the decision that Jet will be our product, our focus for the Dynamics channel, which basically means that all development, but also marketing and other resources can be focused on Jet. So we'll have more development resources, more focus on that, which is, I think, very important, especially in keeping up with all the development that Microsoft is doing on the Microsoft Dynamics products. So one of the examples of that is the new Dynamics connector that we have developed in-house for both Jet Reports and Jet Analytics. which is something we developed from scratch, which now is at least 2 times faster than anything we have used before, anything we have seen in the market. And that's just an example of the, you could say, the strength of being part of a bigger company. To make that concrete, so how can we help you? Basically, when we look at our product portfolio, we have 3 main products that are specifically designed for the Dynamics market. First of all, we have Jet Reports, which probably most of you will know. It's a Jet as a company grew big with. So Jet Reports made for easy financial and operational reporting, specifically for Dynamics NAV and Business Central. And it specifically means that the intelligence on the NAV or Business Central database is actually built in, which means that, for instance, controllers can do their own reporting and don't have to depend on external or internal developers to build their reports. One of the recent development on Jet Reports that might be interesting to mention is the development of the Jet Hub, which is actually a platform where you can publish and share that you built with Jet Reports, and also a platform where you can actually schedule your reports. So it's not only the development and the creation of the reports, but also the whole distribution part is covered by Jet. Other thing to mention that is important about Jet Reports is that it is very much complementary to Power BI. What we see in the market is that both products sort of coexist, where Power BI is used for the dashboards, the analysis, and also for a specific group of people. But we see that Dynamics customers, and especially the financial ones, the financial people within those customers, they still want their reports. They want to schedule their reports, and they want to keep those. Second part of the product portfolio is Jet Analytics, which might be a little less known for some of you. Jet Analytics is our data warehouse automation tool again, designed for Microsoft Dynamics. And basically what you do with Jet Analytics is that you build and you maintain a data warehouse without having to write SQL code yourself. So as a typical example, I can maintain our own data warehouse, do changes to it, add data sources to it, and I can definitely not write any SQL code. But basically anyone that understands what he wants and where the data is in the source system can build their own data warehouse and maintain it, which of course is again a great enabler for Power BI, because we'll see a lot of customers having multiple data sources that they want to report on. For instance, when you upgrade from NAV to Business Central, having that consolidated reporting and using Power BI on top of that is something that we think there is a big demand for. Finally, and that's new in our product portfolio, we have Insight Planning, which is a full budgeting, forecasting, and planning that we will be introducing full speed next year. Because what we see is that there is quite a few Dynamics companies that are struggling with financial planning. So let's say the budgeting, the forecasting, and anything related to that. Although they may not have asked you directly for it. We've done some research and we see that there's quite some potential for this product. And Insight product or Insight Planning is actually something that came from another acquisition within Insight Software. So we're talking about a mature product that's already there, that already has a large installed base, actually mainly in the Nordics. But a product that we have, you could say, tweaked or customized to be run with Dynamics. So those are the main products and also the main areas where we can help you. So any question that comes up in terms of reporting, data warehousing, Power BI enablement, financial planning, any question in that direction, please feel free to contact us. and we're happy to help you there. So if we look at the question how we actually are able to help you, I think, and that is the main topic of my presentation, is what we can offer you is local presence and local support. So what we see here is a Power BI dashboard, of course, but it shows the number of active customers that we currently have in EMEA. So these are all active customers. So we have 1,000 active customers that are distributed under close to 400 active partners that we have in our channel. So we have a big channel already, and we also have a good team with lots of Dynamics experience to support that. So for now, I would actually like to use the opportunity to sort of introduce them, although they're not on the call. But as you can see, we have a regional approach. And in order for you to feel comfortable to contact them, if you have any questions, let me just quickly go through the names and the people you can contact. So first of all, the UK, and I think many of you, well, people from the UK will know Fiona Weiss, our channel manager for the UK and Ireland. Fiona's actually worked for QBS, so a known quantity, you could say. And I think anyone that's ever been to Directions EMEA will probably have seen her on the dance floor somewhere. So yeah, definitely somebody that people from the UK will know. Then we have Rob Jackson. Rob is our technical account manager in the UK, and basically knows everything there is to know on reporting related to Dynamics NAV. Is also very good at telling you about it, and happy to do so. And Rob is actually somebody in our team that really pushes product development. So if you have any ideas, questions, things that you are missing in Jet, then please contact Rob, and he'll make sure that it gets on the roadmap. And last but not least, definitely, we have Will Lines, which is by his colleague. She's called the baby of the team, and has joined us last year, or actually beginning of 2020, to help out Fiona managing the partner channel. So UK and Ireland partners, any questions you may have, please feel free to contact this team. With that, we will go to the Nordics, where basically we have 3 days managing the channel. By the way, all of them have a Microsoft background, and Niels Erik, like Fiona, or actually Niels Erik and Tina have a QBS background. All of them have loads of experience within the Dynamics channel, where Tina runs you could say the channel and the partners in Denmark, and Niels Erik focuses on the other countries in the Nordics region, so Sweden, Norway, Iceland, etc. Any commercial questions, or reach out to Niels Erik and Tina. And for the technical side, we have Fifan, who's probably the fastest talker in the Nordics, and helps out the partner with any technical questions you may have, and also between Niels Erik and Fan, as we call him, any demo request you may have, any need for a specific thing to be demoed on reporting, budgeting, etc. Please feel free to contact them. Then we move on to the Benelux. This is actually my former team. The people that are on the call from the Benelux, probably some of you will know Jan de Dijker, who's been with Jet for over 10 years, I think. Before that, actually working as a NAV consultant, so also very experienced. Jan works from Belgium, from his home in Belgium, but probably has crossed the border a couple thousand times in the last few years. So any question you may have on Navision and reporting, or Business Central and reporting, feel free to reach out. As a channel manager in the Benelux, we have Simone van der Roovaart. joined the company in 2019. And Simone and actually Natasha Buys, who should be on this slide as well, but is officially in order management. Natasha is also somebody that any Dynamics partner in the Benelux will probably have spoken to on the phone at some point in time. But Simone and Natasha can basically work out any issue. They will have a creative solution for you. Definitely good people to contact. And finally, in the Benelux, we have Sander Slangen and Rick de Jong. So Sander is our junior technical account manager, knows reports, analytics, and Power BI inside out. Always very useful if you want to plan demos and things like that. And finally, Rick de Jong, who's our specialist on Jet Analytics, both on the Navision/BC side, but also on the AX and finance and supply chain side. So any questions, issues, demo requests, again, feel free to reach out. Then we have the DACH region, where, as you can see, we have 2 white spots in there. And actually, we currently have 2 Danes running the DACH channel. So quite a long story. We don't have time for that today. But we are hiring 2 German channel managers who will start in January. So we'll be able to help you out in German, which I think is very important. We see the DACH region as one of our biggest potentials for growth. So that team will be strengthened by 2 German-speaking channel managers. In short, Morten Hinberg, he's our licensing specialist. It's something he learned at Microsoft as well. So he can answer any commercial questions you may have. And then we have Lars Rasmussen, who is who actually leads the technical account managers team, and his internal title is the all-round smart guy. So again, any questions on the technical side, feel free to contact him. And then, as a last, but definitely not the least region, we have our Spanish team managing Southern Europe. And most of you, also the QBS people, will know JC or Juan Carlos. Again, who has QBS background and is known or famous for always asking the final question. And actually, when I asked him today, what should I tell about you? He mentioned that between Fiona, Niels Erik, and Tina, and himself, he thinks they were the best dancers in the QBS group. But I'll leave that to Nelson or somebody else at QBS to decide. But anyway, JC manages the partners in actually a large region, including France, Italy, Monaco, Latin America. So he's got a big region and lots of experience in managing and developing partners. And then with Juan Carlos, we have the Vega brothers, so Mario and Luis, where Mario is the technical account manager, who's also been at Jet for a long time. As you can see, that is a picture that was, I think that was 3 or 4 logos and brand names ago. But definitely a very solid experience and always ready to help. And then we have Luis, who can help you with any commercial licensing questions, etc., etc. So I'm really speeding through the team, but the important part for me about this introduction is that I want all of you to feel comfortable to basically contact any of them. And the email addresses are in the slides, so those will be distributed. But any question you may have related to reporting, data warehousing, again, Power BI enablement, definitely also, but also more on the financial side, feel free to ask us for help. We're there to support you, to support our partner channel, and we can actually help you sell, we can help you implement, and we also help you to support your customers when it comes to these matters and subjects. And actually, the good thing about all this and our cooperation with QBS is that all the paperwork, so all the licenses and everything related to that can be handled by and through QBS, through the navigator and the and everything around that. To be honest, so again, you don't need to worry about that. And if there is any questions, please contact us. With that, I'm going to conclude my story here, and I want to wish you all a very strong end of the year, of a special year. But most of all, I'd like to wish you a Merry Christmas and a safe and healthy 2021. Thank you very much. And with that, I'd like to hand it back to William.
Yes, thanks. You should all be able to see my screen now. Just a very quick verification.
Yep.
Okay, cool. Despite the fact that we had, of course, a very busy last 2 months with the October release of Business Central back in October, directions in November, December is a little bit more lacking news regarding Business Central. But nevertheless, I found some information which is worth sharing with you. First of all, the 17.1 release, which is out now, I would like to highlight some of the features. There are also some good to know changes I will guide you through, and I will end up with some other stuff. First, the 17.1 update, which has been launched. It contains the enhanced email capabilities, which was shown both in the virtual launch event in October and also on directions. And I also covered it in the webcast of last month. So if you're curious to learn more about that, please have a look over there. And I would like to highlight a few of these features, which are here in orange. So notify users of high-risk changes in selected setup fields, the new sales pricing experience, and also some application insight enhancements focusing on the ISVs. But I would like to go through them one by one. First of all, the changes for notifying users of high-risk changes in selected setup fields. Changes to those fields can be tracked, of course, using the changelog functionality. But sometimes, however, tracking changes is not enough. You would love to be notified upfront if you're making changes with a lot of impact. And now you're able to define a list of fields that contain high risk and business critical data, for example, and that you want to be notified when they are changed. This feature is not enabled by default. You have to enable that, and therefore you need to go to the Fields Monitoring Assisted Setup Guide. Then next up is the new sales pricing experience. If you record special prices and line discounts for sales and purchases in Business Central, then Business Central is able to automatically calculate prices on sales and purchase documents. Nothing new there. The price is always the lowest permissible price with the highest permissible discount on a given date. That's just how normal Business Central works. But there are also industries or business specific pricing needs. And this improvement, so that you're able to create new price lists, addresses such needs by making price calculation easily extendable to fit business needs. So basically, next to the default pricing mechanism in Business Central, as an ISV, you're now able to introduce a extended price calculation method. And it's just as easy as deploying an extension which contains an additional pricing cost calculation, and then you're able to view the price calculation method within Business Central. And so once again, by default, if there are no ISV solutions installed, then the list will only show you the default lowest price calculation, which comes standard with Business Central. If you have installed an extension or an ISV solution that adds pricing methods, for example, to define exceptions on standard price calculations, then you can see them in the list and choose this price calculation method. So yeah, that's a great extendable option of the price calculation methods in Business Central. And it's good to know that by default, if you create a new price list, so a new price calculation method, it's always a draft. And once again, this feature needs to be enabled in the feature management page. Next to that, we have the new application insights features, specifically focusing on ISV, or at least partners selling IP. You're now able to get more data about successes or failures of some extension related operations. So the compiling of an extension, synchronization, publishing, installing, updating, etc. Those are now able to monitor within the application insights telemetry page. So that's a great enhancement over there, specifically for those who own a app or extension. Then good to know, now you're able to migrate directly from version 14, 15 or 16 Business Central on-prem to Business Central SaaS. So it's no longer required to first upgrade to the latest version on-prem and then do the migration to Business Central SaaS, but you're now able to migrate basically directly from every version of Business Central directly to the latest version of Business Central SaaS. The second point, which is good to know, is that of course we are all familiar with the fact that the maximum database size of Business Central is 80 gigabytes. But when you were migrating to Business Central SaaS from Business Central on-prem, then the maximum was much lower. You were able to migrate databases up to 30 gigabytes to Business Central SaaS, which has to do with the trust in the migration tool, but the migration tool is now enhanced, and now you're able to just migrate databases up to 80 gigabytes in one try to Business Central SaaS. And regarding this latest subject, I would highly recommend to join the office hours of Microsoft. And the next option, out of my head, it's for next week, I thought, is about the subject on how to control your database sizes. So then they are able to demonstrate you the latest possibilities to reduce your database size, of course. And next to that, of course, it's also good to know, but that's maybe some input for a dedicated webinar, is that you're also able to store data outside of your Business Central tenant, for example, in a Cosmos database somewhere else on Azure. But for now, join this office hours, and then Microsoft will do a latest update on how to control your database sizes. Then a very small thing, but it's good to know because your end customers needs to be informed on that one, is that the Business Central app, which is now currently available under home.dynamics.com as well, will move to office.com. So office.com will be more and more the start site for Microsoft. And there we will get a tab with business applications, and then you will find Business Central, for example. So just from the central starting point, office.com, you're able to launch Business Central. A very small thing, but it is something to be known by you, so you're able to inform your end customers upfront. And the latest point, I mentioned already earlier this year, sometimes Microsoft has a great YouTube channel specifically for Business Central. And it's good to know that they are updating this channel on a regular basis. So for example, the latest features regarding the Wave 2 release of this year, there are now dedicated videos for those. For example, how to use multiple email accounts I just mentioned earlier, which is now live with 17.1. You're able to see the videos on the value of those features. So make use of it by learning it for yourself, or distribute the knowledge to your end customers by re-embedding these videos, for example. And with that, I would like to hand it over to Chris.
Thanks, William. And good afternoon, everyone. Hoping you can see my screen there. So what I would like to cover today are three things. William talked about there being not so many Business Central updates since the last month. There's been a major update from Microsoft around naming changes, and I'd like to cover off that today. I also want to talk about a new promotional SKU for PowerApps that's available, plus the planned retirement of a SKU that still may be in use by many customers from a CSP perspective. So welcome to the Dataverse is the headline for this one. Microsoft have made changes to the name of something that used to be known as the Common Data Service. And I think some of you may remember back at Inspire, Microsoft Inspire event timeframe was July. They formally announced something called DataFlex and DataFlex Pro as the replacement name for Common Data Service. They quickly backed down on this due to trademark issues. Following on from that, it reverted back to Common Data Service, and we also had something known as Project Oakdale, which was the Teams-based version of the Common Data Service. Now, in November, Microsoft announced that this was now to be called the Dataverse. So this is the brand new name for the Common Data Service. Partner feedback on this so far, it's been mostly positive. There's been two trains of thought. So it seems to be that those who read and love Marvel or DC comic books or know superheroes, they likened it to the multiverse, which apparently is where many of those characters come from. On the whole, the brand's somewhat reflected here for that data, but the primary train of thought, if we fast forward a couple of years, and this is the conversations that I've been having with partners in the UK and so on, they basically said, if you fast forward a couple of years right now, the question around whether or not something resides as a known industry term has a very strong message to do with integration. If something is inside of the Dataverse, it can therefore easily be integrated with everything else. If it's outside of the Dataverse, then it would require integration from other data, other places, other dimensions to be valuable. So the branding seems to have been very well received so far, more so that when it lands, if we fast forward it to become an industry-defined term. There is also something called Dataverse for Teams. And there are very specific things here that you should be aware of in relation to the difference between the Dataverse and the Dataverse for Teams. Firstly, they are not the same thing. There are some significant limitations on Dataverse for Teams. It does not enable you to access the data via APIs, so advanced programming interfaces. So programmatic for integrations, for example. It does not enable you to further analyze the data in Power BI, for example. In fact, each Dataverse for Teams environment is a completely separate instance that does not integrate outside of each specific team. So really, calling Dataverse the same thing, it is the same thing, but there are some significant limitations on the Teams-based instances that makes it particularly different. So aside from that, we now know that the Microsoft marketing machine has defined that the future of business application data is inside of the Dataverse. Finally, there was some other naming changes to conventions, and this was to better align with Microsoft terminology elsewhere and based on technical feedback. So within the Dataverse, entities became tables, fields became columns, and records became rows. So we now have tables with columns and rows, very similar to kind of Excel terminology. To make it simple, I think, and more accessible to the kind of the citizen developer target market that Microsoft is going after with PowerApps. Moving on to PowerApps and moving on to a brand new promotional SKU that Microsoft have put in market from the 1st of December. I thought it would be wise to just list some key facts here. It's a PowerApp per app promotional SKU that I want to tell you mostly about. There is a per user SKU. I'll talk about more just at the end of this. Let's concentrate on the per app SKU right now. The US dollar equivalent of the PowerApp per app SKU is $10. this promotional SKU is listed at $3 per user per month. So there's a significant discount there. However, the minimum amount that you can procure is set at 200 PowerApp per app licenses at the $3 per user per month setting. So with a minimum in there at 200, I worked out the breakpoint for cost effectiveness to be at 60 licenses. I did some simple maths to work this out. 60 times by the $10 equivalent is $600. 200 times by the $3 equivalent is $600. So anywhere from 61 PowerApp per app licenses up to 200 PowerApp per app licenses. You have the kind of the range there where you should probably buy the promotional SKU because you would be able to procure 61 licenses at $3 cheaper than you would at 60 licenses at $10. It's available on CSP. It's available via volume licensing as well, kind of outside the scope of that of your market here. But just in case you have customers who buy through those channels higher in the enterprise, they have put it in market until the end of June 2020. So available. It's what's interesting is that it says in the terms and conditions it's available for new deals, but it's also available for renewals. So if you've already got customers running PowerApps per apps where there is more than 60 and less than 200, they can access this promotional pricing too. My assumption is that there aren't many customers out there from a Microsoft perspective that can take advantage for this, hence why it's also available for renewals. It says that the price applies until the end of the agreement term. We've asked for further clarification on that. In the context of CSP, that is generally a 12-month annual commitment, and that's what we fully expect the promotional pricing to be applied for. We've asked about any plans for a 3-year SKU or similar to help that. So that's the PowerApp per app promotional SKU. I did also allude to the fact that there was a PowerApp per user promotional SKU in market too. Just to let you know that there's a 5,000 user minimum commitment for that. So there is a significant discount, but if anybody has a 5,000 user PowerApp deal, please contact me directly. I would be delighted to get excited about that with you and help. I thought this was the most relevant one to cover off on the call today. So just to finish off on SKUs and to talk about a CSP retirement SKU. Back in April 2019, Microsoft announced that there were plans to change the storage needs for Dynamics 365 sales, Dynamics 365 customer service, and everything that went with that. Previously, you could run with an additional database storage SKU, which was a qualified offer. You could attach that to any of the enterprise SKUs. The pricing for that was actually £3.80 per gigabyte. Now, Microsoft at the time used to charge for additional production instances in D365 sales, custom service additional non-production instances, and they changed the licensing structure to be one price for a gigabyte of common data service storage, but no need to procure additional instances. The price for storage was around £30. I didn't check the US dollars for this. So it looked like a tenfold increase, but the majority of customers where there was a need for additional file storage, database storage, log storage could split out the file storage and make it much more cost effective through cleverly reallocating or reordering the way they stored things. The key here is that there will still be customers running that SKU, and Microsoft have announced plans to delete that SKU from the CSP price list as of January 2021. So if you do have customers on that SKU, they may be effective. Just bear that in mind. If you do need further information, then please get in touch via the partner support, the partner care team, and we can have a further conversation with you there. So that's it for me for the 3 updates, the 3 things that are most major. Please, everyone, stay safe, enjoy the festive season. And I would like to now hand you over to Stephen Lee from Cotham Technologies, who will be talking about FloPro, their no-code mobile application development central. Hello, Stephen.
Thanks, Chris. Hi, everybody. This is the first time Cotham have presented to this forum. Hopefully you are seeing my screen.
Yes, we are indeed.
Okay, jolly good. Right. Okay, so my name's Stephen Lee. On the call is my colleague Raman Mistry, who's our chief exec. Cotham Technology are based in the UK. We have local resource in Europe. We have a long heritage in IT-enabled change, and we have developed a platform called FloPro, which is a no-code mobile application development platform. The solution we're going to show you today allows 10 times acceleration on the development of enterprise-grade mobile native apps, which can run on wearables, on tablets, on smartphones. The background of many of the team is in Microsoft, SAP, Oracle, and our vision was to develop a better way of developing enterprise-grade mobile apps. The solution we've developed, which is patent pending in North America and Europe, is called FloPro. You build the app once using our intuitive interface, and it will generate Android and iOS native mobile apps. We can very, very quickly integrate using OpenAPI to any of the mainstream back-end systems. And we're seeing a lot of success in 2020 with a number of both QBS, Microsoft VARs, and other VARs in Europe, basically integrating to Business Central using our API decoder. I've got a short video which you can also find on our website, and I'll just, it's only 30 seconds or so I'll just talk you through just to give you a flavor of the solution. So effectively, FloPro is an app itself. It runs on a tablet. It allows you to sit with your clients, generate apps in a live environment. You define the wireframes, look and feel, the sequence of the screens. You then use API to connect the various back-end systems. It can be a one-to-many integration. Native apps, for those that aren't familiar, basically means you're using the software and hardware within the device. So things like camera, QR readers, Bluetooth connectivity, etc., are all basically pulled through into the FloPro app. Once you've finalized with your client, you then publish it, and it can be published either to public app stores or private app stores. The key thing is this is no code. It's been designed for enterprise grade apps. And typically, as I mentioned, we are typically 10 times faster than if you were to give your business requirements to Android or iOS developers. Other key differentiators of our solution is the apps will run offline. We have recently announced a global partnership with Software AG, specifically around their Cumulosity IoT product, and obviously equally compatible with Microsoft's IoT platform. And the app FloPro can be used for B2B and B2C applications. Importantly, it complements and extends the functionality in PowerApps. Microsoft PowerApps. Key differentiators, and we have discussed this with the PowerApps team over in Seattle, is effectively there's no need for FloPro created apps to run within a container. So it's a standalone app which can be distributed, as I mentioned, in private or public app stores, full offline capability, and the ability to distribute to end users. We use native controls, so that's using the hardware and software in the wearable, in the tablet, in the smartphones, and full access to the proprietary operating systems. Advantages to Microsoft partners, QBS partners, firstly is around leveraging the investment that your client have made in the Microsoft stack. So basically the ability to provide the end clients, either in the SME space or the enterprise space, with full enterprise grade native apps. The time to market, typically we could concept using FloPro in a matter of single-figure days, and take that through to MVP, ready for launch in a matter of weeks, so rather than months. And anybody who's familiar with this market will know that historically developing enterprise-grade native apps have been very, very expensive. So it's reducing the time to market. Also, if you've got pre-sales opportunities, being able to demonstrate to the end client what via a proof of concept, what that will look like. In terms of extending the value, it's the ability to sort of create stickiness with your clients. So without the need for them to look at third-party products outside of the Microsoft stack, which obviously in turn then helps you drive further Microsoft license sales. We've got a number of live clients. One of them is on the call today, Jermaine from Elite Dynamics. So we worked with Jermaine and his team over the last few months. We've developed a consumer app. So people who sit or a holiday home and want to view their account, want to raise a works order, and pay for said work via Stripe. So we've got full Stripe integration, that app has been a great success for both Elite and for Cotham. Over on the left, you'll see Tagos Group, who are a pan-European VAR. They major on an industry solution for waste management, waste collection, management, recycling. The brief for that particular client was, this is quite a complex app, field servers, track and trace, quite complex workflows, but we wanted a very intuitive and simple user interface, as you can see there, because this is to be mounted on ruggedized tablets to go out in the vehicles. In terms of what services are available from Cotham, as I mentioned, the background of the core team of Cotham is business consultancy. For most of us have got about 25 years experience working with Microsoft, SAP, Oracle. So in terms of strategy interpretation through to solution design and delivery, if you require that support, that's available from our professional services team. Obviously, the app development itself and the full enterprise architecture and integration advice and guidance, but it's, as you saw in the video, very, very simple to connect via Open API. From a commercial perspective, we offer 3 models. The first one is you can license our product, FloPro. We can build the app using our technology for you. Or we can do it in partnership. And the partnership approach is always good in terms of knowledge transfer and getting you to a stage where you can take our product and use it yourself, and obviously the cost savings there as well. So that's just a very brief overview on Cotham Technologies and FloPro. If anybody would like to, we'll obviously send the deck out after this session. And please feel free to reach out, or if you've got any questions, I'm happy to take those questions now. Thanks very much.
Thank you so much, Stefan. And I think it was a pretty clear story. So looking at the questions, let me double check. No questions, I think. So that gives us to the end to this webcast. And I'm afraid also indeed it was the last webcast of this year. I wish you all happy days, happy Christmas, and hopefully we see you in the next year again in a new round of series of webcasts. Thanks so much for joining, and see you next year. Bye bye.